hello, ladies. Howdy, Jimmy. Becca, there she is. Welcome back. All right. Howdy, folks. Welcome back. I told you I would be back. All right. So let's get into it. If we can get the. Come on back. There we go. All right. While that's warming up and getting loaded up, I'd like to take that moment right there to thank all of you for taking a precious moment of your time. A moment of your precious time. Both of those. To be here with this precious family. Okay. And if you've been here for a while, if you've stuck around for the spiritual reports at the end, and you realize you're part of this family and you have a seat at the table, you see how precious this family is. Okay. Okay. Lord, give me strength. Here we go. Also, Lord, give my audience strength and courage too, as well as we go through this information tonight. It's going to be disturbing, so I'm just going to do the best I can for you, okay? That's all I can do. Here we go. So, we're looking at today, 6/28/2024, okay? Not much activity going on right now on the sun. That's good, okay? Small little CMEs. You can see we still have some spires, these spikes sticking out over here and around there. So still future activity to come. Okay. All right. All right. We'll just do it this way, I guess. All right. Let's come on over to the solar ham real quick and just kind of drop in and start our regular report. And then we got to get into our G4. Okay. As you can see, normal activity, pretty quiet. You saw the satellite already, so not much really to report as far as solar, X-ray flux, solar, stuff like that. But all right, sorry. Let's come back up here to the top. First of all, I want you to see our solar flux indice is at 181. It's dropping, but very slow. It's down 2 points, not much. Our sunspot number, the count is up by 16. We're up to 162. All right, we're gaining a bunch of spots. The area is increasing too as well. We're still in the green, which is fine as long as they got separation, right? Let's take a little peek at the ugliness here. That it's actually been quiet, so that's what's nice. You can see all these boom, 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 boom. A lot of spots going on right now, okay? Okay, just real quick, I want to zoom in here, point a couple things out real quick. So it's 3723, our old region 64. All right, this thing is still there, and you see we got blue and red starting to there's a blue patch growing amongst all these little red dots. All right, so we'll keep an eye on it. It's been quiet. All the rest of these don't have any components, so it's looking kind of good for considering how many sunspots we have. Okay, 5% X, 50 there. Okay, our geomagnetic forecast for tomorrow, G1. Okay, we'll probably see something tomorrow. All right, we'll see. The next 2 days or the following 2 days, nothing. Okay. Here's all your sunspot numbers and everything. Now we're going to talk about this G4 storm, the unexpected storm, right? Everybody was talking about today how this was unexpected. It should be no surprise here at this channel. This was expected. I told you this was coming. Yeah, Kitty, you want to go out? Hold on, Bubba. Anyways. What, Bubba? The bathroom? Oh. Okay. Eat your treat. Sorry, I'm going to take care of cats. All right, now back to where I was. So let me just get into this here. First of all, our auroras are pretty weak right now. We came out of this. It reached a KP 7.5, almost a KP of 8. All right, so it was a strong geomagnetic storm. Okay, a lot of radiation hit us. Let's get into the article first. Oh, I'll try to squeeze the whole thing in there. All right, there we go. Not at all expected. A severe G4 geomagnetic storm is in progress following a CME passage Friday morning. The solar wind speed increased to nearly 500 kilometers per second, and the plasma density showed a nice increase as well. No surprise. Needless to say, the timing is not great for aurora sky watchers in Europe and most of North America with sunlight now upon us. Okay. Storm conditions have since subsided, and a minor G1 geomagnetic storm watch will remain in effect for the next 12 hours while the CME disturbance continues to pass. Okay. How do I tell him, Lord? Do it this way, I guess. Yeah, right here. We'll do it with this, I guess. I need to. Oh, look at this new one coming off right here. Ate him right for us. When we're done here, we'll go back to that one. And let me just load this up. Some stuff we need to talk about that I explained the other night. And I was kind of expecting this with this one for a reason. And we'll go over that reason. Now, I know a lot of solar forecasters are kind of eating their hat today, or, because they didn't expect this, right? We all expected the CME, right? And it was just a glancing blow, okay? So our CME coming off in this direction, you can see the edge of it clips the earth, right? Bingo! There's your supposed to be G1 storm. All right, now, okay, leave this up and now back to here. So, what happened in this event, right? It took off on the 25th. So let's go back and revisit what happened on the 25th. Okay, here we go. This is June 25th, 2024. You remember this, don't you? You remember this object, right? Remember I was telling you when it comes by and it passes close to the Earth that it'll increase a geomagnetic storm because of all the radiation that this object absorbs itself? Remember me telling you, hey, don't be surprised when the CME comes. There might be a little bit stronger because this object is coming along with it. Now, you see our trajectory. The object probably going along this path, just above the Earth, all right? Just above this line right here, kind of almost in line with stereo A. As it passes the sun, it kicks out the CME, it hits the magnetic barrier, causes a spark, causes a reaction, ping. But even though the CME is traveling this way, said object is still traveling along with it, right? And we think we're just getting clipped by the edge of the CME when we're getting clipped by that, as well as all the radiation that's accompanying this object. It should be no surprise that we had a G4. I am trying not to swear. All right, now. It should be no surprise. I'll just try to say it as nicely as I can. It should be no surprise. I kind of told you that to expect something like this. If you were here at this channel and you paid attention, I tell you that these things, don't be surprised. This one might be a little bit different. Don't be surprised. This one might be a little different. Okay. And, well, we have our object. Okay. And when it carries along with the CME, trailing maybe right with it or right behind it, as the CME itself clips the Earth, still all that radiation from the actual object, it got pretty close. It came by pretty close if the radiation from it caused G4. And we're lucky it was just a G4. Okay? We're lucky that G1, an expected G1 was bumped to a G4. We got lucky. Okay, it could have just been over and no one saw it coming. Can you see it? It's a black hole. It's a super dense sphere, so dense that its gravity absorbs light. Light cannot escape from it Therefore, light cannot reflect off of it. You can't see this round black ball because the light does not reflect off of it. But when it engages the sun, plasma drapes over it, much like a tablecloth draping over an invisible table. It would paint the contour and the corners and the edges and the shape. Well, all of our flow asymmetries, you see flow coming out this way, turning, and then going up and over it right here? See, it's kind of coming out. Remember, this is three-dimensional. You're not looking at a black circle that's coming out like this. There's a black spheroid back there. It's moving by the sun, and the sun's interacting with it. We're not the only stellar object orbiting the sun. So, and then it has satellites, little moons and stuff that go along with it. Okay, they absorb energy as well. This whole system, when it passes by, causes unexpected geomagnetic interaction. Okay, and it just happened to be probably more in the central part of this CME. I wonder if stereo A may be out of data. But anyways, there's your cause right there. All right. That's the cause of your G4 storm right there. It passed by us. All right. We'll probably see other side of effects from this too. No, that's today though. Okay, so 3 days ago, this thing passed the sun. Takes about 3 days for us to get by it too, or for it to come by us. And it lines up with everything. Unexpected, not here. Totally expected. Why? I just explained it. Why? Okay? And the next time, I'll show you again. Because it'll keep happening until forecasters understand what's going on. Forecasters won't be surprised. Because forecasters were surprised yesterday on June 28th when a CME struck Earth and caused a severe G4 class geomagnetic storm. The CME was expected, but the severity of the storm was not. Yeah, it kind of was, but you weren't watching my channel, that's for sure. So daylight over Europe and America hid potentially dynamite displays of auroras. All right, now the NLCs are not behaving as expected. Remember we talked about this last night? Gee, I wonder why the noctilucent clouds aren't behaving as expected. I wonder why. Okay. We're moving on. I'm sorry. I had extreme pain today. It was brutal. This battle is just off the hook. Come on, Google. Really? I can't clip to one page to another, huh? Please, Lord. Can we have this? Please, Lord. Thank you. All right. As you can see, zap. Look at that. We had a G4, a black hole past the planet, and we got a big old zap at the same time. Remember I was saying these readings didn't look like they were kind of the pressure type that I was looking for. Their signature, but they're not the same. They're totally different. The intensity, the sheer, just the way it cuts off really fast, and we didn't have corresponding pressure release. If we had 50 volcanoes that all released at the same time and had 20,000 foot blasts, I could see such a sudden stop of pressure. But we didn't see that last time. We saw a data glitch. Oh, we saw data glitches, right? Remember I was telling you there was 2 of them, and I was expecting a third. Because there's 3 of these objects that they zoom by the sun 1, 2, 3. Then it takes a little break for a minute. And then we get 1, 2, 3. And here's another signature. This time it didn't glitch it out, but this looks very reminiscent of our other ones. It's not as intense and goes off the page, but the shape of it, the intensity of it, it just doesn't look like our normal pressure. So we happen to have something around us, and this happens, and then we get all kinds of other effects too. So really, please just, Lord, please, just, thank you. This day has been one brutal battle. Okay, here we are. Upper jet stream. See our flow still kind of going like this, congealing together. We got flow coming off here, coming together over the Great Lakes region. That's your upper jet. It goes down, corresponds with your lower jet a little bit. All right, now, usually our weather is riding this lower jet pattern. This is what steers the weather, brings stuff on shore, spreads it across the country. Sometimes it diverts it south and west. Well, it used to. Now, there's your weather, or there's your lower jet. Now let's get down to your weather patterns, and you can see that it doesn't correspond anymore. We have this flow off the ocean, but it's being turned around and diverted south. There's like this big high pressure, not a high pressure ridge. We got a big vortex rotating out here that's turning wind around and bringing it back this way. Now, this is not correct. This does not look like our day. Yeah, this is June 29th. You guys are high. Give me the. Yep, June 29th. That's right, huh? It doesn't look like yesterday's, or even close to it. So we still have this flow going like this conveyor belt, and these storms keep popping around it, but now it's made it over the corner. This one's getting shoved over. This one kind of turning and going down. Its actual rotation with the vortex pulling it down is continuing to keep stuff from entering the west coast right there. And you can just see this big wall. You see where it's just all green, and just totally blue right in there. There's just nothing. It looks like a hedge of protection or something. Anyways, this is our weather being affected by the warm or thermal activity in the currents in the water. Meanwhile, over here, we're seeing intense storms starting to grow in this region. And, when they show you the computer models and the spaghetti models and stuff of, it could turn and go up the East Coast, or it could go here, it could, pretty easy to tell where it's going to go. I mean, it should be pretty easy to tell where it's going to go. And when you know how this conveyor belt system works, let's just kind of take a little peek around here real quick. Got a pretty healthy storm growing out there. Look at this up here. And then where's the one in Alaska? Oh, here. We had one right up here. Oh, it's kind of broadened out. See how this rotation is broader now? It's not so small and compact. But we still have a rotation here from all the heat plume coming up in that area. And I wonder what's going to transpire here. And, well, that's right where our heat plume is off of Japan as well. Okay, so we'll get to the heat plumes here in a minute. We got to finish some other stuff here. No. Yeah. Sandstorm. Our sandstorm report. Massive, huge plume of sand some going up through the Mediterranean, all the way across the Atlantic, spreading out. It's getting caught up in our conveyor belt system. Look, see our conveyor belt coming back to life and going back up through here. So it's blowing more sand into this area. And look where it's at. See where the sand has reached to the tip of Florida, and it's going what way? Oh, guess where you're about to have some very hazy skies, orange, red sunsets, possibly, sun halos, all kinds of, hazy skies due to this sandstorm from Africa about to reach Texas. In lighter news, we have a huge plume coming up across the Mediterranean, covering all of Europe and France and Spain with sand. Tell us about the other story, Charlie. Well, we have another sandstorm over here off the coast of Saudi Arabia here in the Caspian Sea. No. My bad. This is the Persian Gulf. Another plume over Gobi Desert. Okay. Especially these like black hole type objects have an electromagnetic charge to them, much like a static charge, right? It puts a charge on the sand, which is silica. It holds an electric charge. That's why they use silica in your chips. So this can hold a charge, and it gets airborne. It gets lighter than air, or lighter than usual, with an electrical charge. And with our increased wind speeds now because of the thermal production down below, add the wind to the lightened sand, and we have massive sandstorms that go all winter long into the spring, all through the spring, into the summer. It'll probably never end. That's our never-ending sandstorm probably right there. And it can cut down on the production of hurricanes. If you see this little guy trying to spin up right here. So it kind of halters the production of hurricanes. But eventually this water out here is getting so hot that it's going to even if we have sand, it's still going to mix into the hurricane. You're going to have get sandblasted, basically. All right. Just real quick, let's kind of just do the other color tad bit so it pops a little more. Where's it going? Well, shoot, it's already kind of there. All right, so there's your sandstorm report. Let's come on over to the SO2 now. Take off the wind. All right. Here we are. A country divided. Bleeding out on this side. You can see our little patches where there's flooding. Little on this side breaking up, but all kind of hit and miss areas with volcanic vents usually, or some kind of perforation in the crust. This has been going on for a while now. And down here you can see these little gray patches where we've had flooding. It's kind of plugged up the pores in the ground, the perforations that this gas seeps out of. Okay, it's getting up here in Canada and stuff, up into Alaska as well. Ow. Excuse me. Hurts to yawn. All right. Now, these fires here. I put the fires on the overlay now, and you can see how this gas coming out of the ground, super hot gas, okay? It's down by the magma. When it makes it up through the perforations in the crust, it's so hot it can cause the vegetation in the area to spontaneously combust. And it's responsible for starting some fires now. But that's up there in Canada. Look out, Alaska. Look at this. Uh-oh. All right, Alaska. It might be time to start taking your fire situation seriously, because you got thermal plumes coming off your coastline, and this activity happening back in the forest back there. Look how many plumes there are. They're never going to put out these fires. Well, until the pressure stops. Look at this. Look at all the fires that's starting over here. All right, so let me focus again. Take the fires off, please. I'm going to stick with their time frame. There we go. Okay, here we are. China still got a lot of pressure. 2, 3 good little main pockets where it's just, lots coming out of the ground. India, same. They got their issues right here. All these different independent spots are all bleeding out SO2. Okay, look at Europe and everything. It's still peppered with all these different spots. All right, coming down here, let's check Taiwan real quick. Here at Taiwan, our fulcrum point, we have a big plume coming out of this whole kind of region right here, too, along the coast. Wind taking it offshore a little bit, but a lot of SO2 coming out now, probably because we haven't had a good quake in this region in a minute and pressure's building. Meantime, we come down here to Java. It looks like it lightened up a little bit. It's still pretty dark purple at this end, but it was a little darker down here last night. It's still healthy. Don't get me wrong. It's still pretty purple, but last night it seemed it was a little bit darker. So we may have had a quake or a good volcanic blast that relieved some of the pressure there. Australia got its issues. Here's Hawaii really quick. Okay, Oahu's the main one that's pumping out most of it. Okay, you still got other venting here at Maui and at the main island. So those little vents doing their job and relieving pressure at the hub of the wheel. The ring of fire is like a bicycle wheel, and everything comes out of the middle. Well, this would be the hub of the wheel, the middle. We're still on their time frame, I think. Just real quick, check South America, I guess. This way. Okay, sorry. Just struggling through is all I can do. Pressure in this region seems to have relieved a little bit. They still have some of their little spots here and there. Jamaica is always dark purple like that, but Cuba starting to fill in there. Haiti and Dominican Republic filling in. We got a dark patch here, which is a path of least resistance, where we had that bigger 6.0 quake. Yesterday we had a 7.2 out here, kind of quelled some of the pressure in this region, but we still do have some little spots that are dark. A lot of these other little spots, like there were all little tiny purple spots all through this area right here where my arrow is, and now it's yellow. There's no purple spots. See what I'm saying? It was all tightly packed little cubes all the way down through here, but then you can see right in this region right here, there aren't any. Well, that's because the pressure in that area got relieved by the quake. We still have our weak spot right here at our fulcrum point. Don't get me wrong, there it's still wide open valve. All right, and it's pretty pretty strong tonight. It's one cube instead of, spread out. These other two are, there, but this middle one and the other fifth one are fading. So we still see lots coming out down through here, though. You can see it all blowing offshore right here in this big old plume right there. All right, so there's your SO2. Now let's get on over to the ocean. Lord, give them strength. They're gonna need it. There we go. One more. All right. Okay, we're getting back to that phase where we're getting a yellow bar growing out in this region again. Okay. Here's where we have that storm off of Japan, and I'll put the winds on in a minute. We'll let all the air correlations jump in there. First, let's just kind of jump around. Here we are at Taiwan, and we see red, and this region of yellow kind of decreased a little bit. It seems there was a lot more yellow here yesterday, it seems like. So we may have had a little quake, relieve some pressure in this area finally, but you still see some there. Let's come on down to Java, where we have all our volcanoes. Usually we see cold water inundation here. Well, it's shifted over to here, and now as we approach summer, water in this region is naturally going to get warm because of the sun and thermal heating from the sun. So our last little cold patch hanging out there, struggling to, be the last little bit. But meanwhile, off the coast of Sumatra here, you see this yellow growing and this red area kind of deepening in red color. It's starting to get concerning in there. We have issues out there. Definitely some new plume right here. All kinds of little ones along there. Coldest water in the world right now between South Africa and Antarctica. But not now. Okay. That's the Atlantic Ocean. All right, we got a big, huge ball type structure growing right here. The Mid-Atlantic Ridge is a zipper that runs down through here, right? So probably along the ridge, we have molten nickel coming up from down at the core level around that region. Very, very hot molten metals that are very dense and super hot. So they come up out of the crack. That's the big crack in the earth. It's the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. And now it's heating the ocean. Lava underneath the water is heating the ocean before we get thermal heating from the sun. So we got heating from below and heating from above on the water. Okay. You can see these little cold patches are trying to hang on here. Boom, 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 boom. These little last ones, but they'll probably be disappearing here soon by the way things are looking. We got issues up here at Hudson Bay. Okay, we're up above the Arctic Circle. All right, we're way up here, and there's hot water. This is supposed to be some of the coldest water in the world, too. Here we are at Alaska, all right? This is a plume right up here that's new. We have another one growing there, and then all along the coastline of Alaska is yellow. Do you see this? So underneath here, underneath all of this land is heat growing, and it's growing out in the water as well. This whole plume right here, somewhere about that size. Then we have a new perforation in the crust. This hot spot out there in this, the Gulf here of Alaska, kind of. Now, look at Kamchatka. Look at this way up here. Is this a perforation in the crust? Yes or no? And then look up in here, this region right up of Russia up in here is getting hot now. And we have this region that was all yellow has kind of cooled off a little bit, but it's starting to come back and fill in yellow now. We have had this spot off of Japan for quite a while. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is put all the air currents back on, and this is where it gets very disturbing because the air patterns are now matching the heat plumes, and we could get standing rotating vortexes like, say, this bar right here. Do you see this rotation around it? Well, it's not going to move unless this thing, decreases in size or in temperature or whatever. This vortex will stay there. It'll continue to pump the weather the way it is. We got this one up here. This heat plume was creating a vortex. This vortex kind of shifted now, but we could possibly see a parked vortex here. And when you get something that's parked in one spot and something that's parked in another, it'll funnel water or funnel air along certain little pathways. So let me pull back just right about there. All right, so you can see our heat plumes. This hot spot is creating rotation here. And then we'll come over to here now. You see how our wind patterns are following these heat signatures? And you see this region right in here? This is where our hurricanes form, and then they gain strength going through here, and then up into the Gulf. Sometimes if the water's hot in the Gulf, they gain strength there. But look, our water here is cooling off thanks to our cold spot right here. But this heat signature is going to create a conveyor belt type system like this, all right, where throughout the course of the summer and with more activity on the sun, increasing the temperature out here, we're going to get a stronger conveyor belt. The more heat, the stronger the belt, right? So the more heat, the more hurricanes we can see popping off here. Even if we have sand, we have so much heat to overwhelm it. We'll have a hurricane pop off, and then a second one. We could possibly see evenly distributed, evenly spaced hurricanes coming off, like 8 to 9 or 10 of them rotating around this conveyor belt, with every once in a while some shooting off and going up into the Gulf. Then, usually a hurricane, comes through this region. It gains strength. It comes through here, gains strength. It usually gains even more strength in the Gulf, but not right now because it might lose a little bit. But then they come up through here, and then they lose energy going over land, right? And then dissipate. Well, they're not going to be dissipating when they come off of land. They're going to be gaining strength. You're going to have a tropical depression after, hits land as a category 4, weakens, comes off the East Coast as a tropical depression going into hot water, coming around here. You can see some of these airflow patterns. If this thing starts swooping up storms and feeding them into the British Isles, Ireland, Scotland, Spain, France. And then you see how it does a turn, comes down this way. Weather coming down through here, it could be really gnarly. Bam, hitting Canary Islands and all this along Africa. And then it'd peel off and go across the Atlantic. These islands right here, these barrier islands, I'd get out of there. I would just evacuate. Pack up all your stuff that you have there and move it out. If you want to keep it. because that's going to be like the battering ram. It's just going to be the place that takes a lot of the punishment. You see this flow, right? We're talking, we could possibly get what Mike is describing as the hypercane. The hypercane would probably be a centrally located hot spot, right, with causing a huge vortex like this. A vortex so big that it's the hurricane. It'll have a central spot where there's no weather, but the eye wall will be all of this wind band going around. The conveyor belt would be the eye wall. Imagine something along those parameters where, wind speeds coming down this way, 200 miles, 300 miles an hour, hitting the coast, coming across 200, 300 miles an hour, hitting these islands right there, 200, 300 miles an hour. They're gone. Imagine all of this wind just hustling. I mean, going through there so fast that you can't even see the little white streaks. So what regions do you think would be getting hit? Let's just look at our flow pattern for a minute. Some of these places, it might be worth considering getting away from the water. You're mature adults. You're smart enough to make your decisions and stuff. I can't do like your financial advice type, do this, do that. But take a look at what's happening. Understand what's happening. That's what you need to do. You need to understand what's happening. I'm trying my best here, you guys. Well, let's move on. We got to get to earthquake report. Take out that and that, please. Let's try to open up the earthquake report. Got a few of you guys here. Cool. Southern Grace, Michelle. All right, let's get them all on the earthquake page, Brian. Oh. All right, here we go. Sorry I didn't have it loaded up before. My computer's, it's been a long day. Let's just keep moving forward. All right. Oh, there we go. A little too close, but here we go. Deep quake for the day, 4.5 down at 423. That's not even all that deep. Our pressure's kind of coming up from down deep. The global water event starting Wednesday, I will talk about that. We just talked about it. The global water event is because of all this heat that's convecting water up into the sky. The global water event will be the hypercane, the hurricanes that just, the series of hurricanes that can just lash the coast over and over again. That would be your water event. We also have an ice shelf that's hanging by a thread down in Antarctica. All right. It's a massive, massive shelf. It's basically just standing on a toothpick. The moment that toothpick melts and the whole structure fails, it'll raise water levels around the world by 10, 20, 30 feet probably. Every coastline. Doesn't matter where you're on the world, water distributes evenly. It might hit some places a little higher and a little there, but eventually it would distribute evenly all around the world. It's unfortunate. And not much we can do about it. And we have thermal heating from down below that's exacerbating the problem. There is one solution, but we'll get to that in the spiritual report. back to the earthquakes. Meanwhile, 4.5 down at 423. Our pressure is not as deep. It's coming up a little bit. That's your mid-range 4 that we're used to seeing that dumps off 5 energy at the surface. There's a good old 5.7 at the surface right there. That's even better energy. Even more came out. That's beautiful. 4.6 here at the surface. We got this island that's spewing SO2, so it relieves pressure as pressure tries to enter the system. So a lot of, there hasn't been much activity through here except at our like little weak spot. We also have volcanic activity in that region that relieves pressure too. Little tiny quake here, 4.4. It's on land. Yeah, that's not the fulcrum point. This one's on land. This is some little volcanic feature coming. Whatever's going on in this region right in here. Little earthquake pressure down below, trying to reach to the surface. Trapped under that there. Okay, moving on. Finally, one on land here on the island. A 4.8 at a depth of 10. Energy at the surface being relieved. Nothing throughout this pit area region today. Nothing through Java. Now remember, we saw a lot of pressure building in this region, and the water turned orange and yellow. Well, not the water. The temperature's turning orange and yellow. Well, look at the series of quakes we've had here. Let's start in with this one. 4.9 down at 27. What do we do with 4.9s here? 5 energy at the surface. We got another mid-range 4 right there at 74 now. Ooh, 5 at the surface. Bingo. This is not on the plate boundary, but just inside these pressure ridges. These are underwater mountain ranges that are pressure ridges. Like if you took some mud and you shoved it together, it would have a little wave, a little lip would come up like that. In miniature form, and in a grander scale, it makes a little underwater mountain range in here. I wonder if this is a little island or anything poking up here. No. All right. Backing out. Let's get over here to Taiwan. Stopping off here, 4.5 down at 124. All right, remember we saw a little reduction in the pressure or the temperature in this region? And I was saying we need a quake here yesterday. And yay, we got 4.8 down at 10 and 4.8 down at 241. A couple of 5s right there. I bet you they were downgraded. Now up here where we see our plume, our hot plume of water coming out of there, it's not enough. There's still pressure in the region and enough to kick out another 5 right here, 4.95 right there. Finally, a fulcrum point quake. We haven't seen a fulcrum point quake up here in quite some time because of all the volcanic activity. And it's a 4.7 down at 33. Tell them what they've won, Johnny. Over here, 4.3 at the surface, plate boundary, it looks like. Yeah, relieving energy at the surface there. Well, looky what's going on over here. Sure, why not? Let's just jump right on in. First, the Cocos plate. Get that one out the way. 4.7 at depth 10. Energy on the boundary being relieved. Our spot where our big quake was yesterday had a 6.1 down at 19, and we just had a 5.3 down at 52. Just now, 5.3 right there in red. Same place where we had our big quake, and remember we saw the purple pixels weren't purple in this area because the pressure had been relieved by a quake. Just south of it, on the other side of the fulcrum, you're 5.2. 5.3? 5.2. Almost same energy. So if you're... Oh, cool. All right. Yay. I'm just popping into the chat real quick. Make sure you guys are doing okay in there. Well, we just had a quake here in California, 3.5 outside of Barstow. Let me go ahead and pull up on magnitude. And we'll hop into America here. Yeah, we took care of everything else. All right, so we had energy at the fulcrum come in at, 4.7. There's a 3.6. 3.8. Going right up through the weak zone. 2. Here's a new quake, 2.1. Right here. 2. 2.1. Then just over the fulcrum, just barely. You see this point right here? This is like the last little point of pressure that's pointing in that direction. Everything else has to shift and go down, and it has to change direction. Look at this. We got little microquakes along this little region right here. Bing, bing, plate boundary, one right there. So energy's making it over, coming down. Well, came at the fulcrum as a 2.4. Let's come back up here. Activity going on around the Puget Sound a little bit right here at the mouth of the bay. Again, on the top of Mount Rainier, when we get pressure down below, we get quakes at volcanic sites. It excites them. Pressure builds. They're plugged up. Lava can't come out, but it'll rattle it a little bit. There's quaking at Mount Rainier. We have quaking here at Mount St. Helens. Showing that we have pressure down below, kind of rising up to the surface. And we see quaking at volcanic sites. Look at this. This is interesting. Right above our fulcrum point, pressure comes in this way, right? And it likes to follow this little line and come inland like right about here. This is where we've been seeing some inland activity from this fulcrum point. Energy wants to go in a straight line, but then it has to turn and go this way. Well, if it doesn't handle the turn too well, pressure will drive inland. And we're seeing inland quakes above this pressure area coming in here. So much pressure kind of coming in like this and didn't release this way, backs up. I'm kind of on this other side. See what I'm saying here? Can you see how this is happening here? It's not much. They're small quakes, but they're kind of just the opposite side on the inside of this fulcrum point. Nothing straight down, but then we come down a little bit. 2.5 there. All right, you see these red ones here at the geysers right now. So we're currently having some pressure make it to the surface right now. We're having activity at the geysers. They're continuing to microquake. That's good. That relieves pressure coming in before it hits the Bay Area. Now, we still do have weak spots in the Bay Area, and we're seeing little quakes like this along the Hayward Fault. This little region down here had two of them. Gilroy. Couple along these mountains here. Now, right here, we just had a 3.5 in Barstow out in the desert out there. Meanwhile, lots of little micro quaking through here. That's good. That's relieving pressure in the area. We did see a fair amount of heat plume coming off this area, indicating pressure in that area. Let me go back to, where to go? There. Take off the wind. All right. See what I'm talking about? Right there in that bay. Right here in this bay. And right out in the middle of that pressure at Cattle or Avalon Island is some little quaking going on out there. Everybody in LA, get ready. Everybody in LA. Look at this. We're starting to see little stuff happen here along the coast here between the coast and this big plume out here. Wow. All right, back to earthquakes. So microquaking through there, good, relieving pressure, but we need to see a lot more microquaking in that area. This will not handle it. That's only 3.5. I could use a lot more of those in this area. It might rattle it a little bit, but I'd like to see, well, I'd rather see a bunch of little small quakes than a big one right there. So 3.5 being our biggest energy release while we're still kind of going through this down in that region. I would advise the people in that area to have a good earthquake plan. All right. Also, the movie Volcano, where they have a volcano eruption in LA, well, we do have, structures like the La Brea tar pits, okay? There are some kind of weak spots in the crust down there where you could see some kind of venting, all right? It's not really too far-fetched when we see this starting to happen. We'll monitor this as it blooms and stuff and continue to report on it, but it's not a good situation. Neither is this. I mean, none of this is a good situation. Could all be changed too. Could all be changed. All right, we're way up here. Oh, that's an explosion. Oh, here we go. Activity up here. 3.4 in Henderson, New York. Oh, you better issue a tsunami alert. They probably freaking out, dude. They had a 3.4. But look at this. It's at the surface in a weak zone here in the water. Look at this little structure in the water. This dark area right there. Almost like a little deeper pit type area where the water's deeper. You can see the shoreline where it's not as deep. So something down in this little hole down in there. 3.4 New York. Yeah, watch out, you guys. You get a 7.5 right there, you could have a tsunami. Put a tag on it, a future spot for a weak spot when pressure builds, where we might see quake activity if we were to see, pressure release. There's a new path of least resistance right there. Okay. I think we're done. Oh, no, we got to do Hawaii. We got friends on Hawaii. Okay, nothing on the main island or the other islands. It's all on the main island. Good little flurry of, these aren't even microquakes. These are twos, mid-range twos. Fair amount of pressure being released right here. We had we had pressure come in. The volcano's plugged up. It wouldn't erupt. And then another round of pressure came in, and we've been microquaking, a lot of pressure away. But finally, another round of pressure came in, and a fissure tore open here. And we have a new vent or a new path of least resistance, a new perforation in the crust when that vent tore open. And it tore open much like, like Rekehanes's vent. It's a fissure, a crack in the ground that lava shoots up out of that crack and creates a curtain. And they have that curtain effect here in Hawaii. It's doing its job, relieving pressure. It's the center of it's the hub of the wheel, so it has its own little pressure system it has to deal with too. And we're done, son. Let's do some volcanoes, huh? Get rid of that. Volcano, Lord, let it work, please. We have a volcano page tonight. 33 erupting, 28 in warning, still 61. They took one off the erupting list. It was 34 last night. Are we already on? Nope. We have to go to that. And we have to close that. And we have to fight off some ads, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Maybe later, but we will get there. All right. Karaminski volcano up on the Kamchatka. Oh, they took it off the list and made it semi-active. So Jorge on the Azores Island, the Institute of Volcanology, alert level, Jorge Volcano Fissure System V1. In the last 6 months and all through there have been occasionally some peaks of greater energy release. Peaks of greater energy release. The downward trend in the seismic activity has continued with no events happening at Mount or recorded around the place other than greater magnitude. Karaminski, 7,000. Semi-active 7,000. IBU, Ibu, 10,000. Luatobi, 8,000. Semaru, 15,000. Aoba, Vanuatu had a 10,000 foot blast. That's why a lot of energy got taken out around Vanuatu area. 10,000 foot blast out of Aoba there. Nevada del Ruiz, 20. Asangay, 19. Reventador, 14. Sabancaya, 24. And that was just in the last few moments. Let's go look at today, which is now yesterday. And here we are back at Karaminski. 15,000 foot blast, that big old plume right there. What the heck? Okay. The explosive eruption at the volcano continues, varying between 12,000 and 20,000 feet. That's a lot of ash way up there. Here's Ebico with one at 10,000. All kinds of little images. Back to Ibu here, 20,000 out of IBU. I was with you at 10,000 last night. Now IBU at 20,000. Luatobi at 10,000. Semaru, 15 probably. Merapi, 12,000. Santa Guido, 13,000. I know they just get old after a while. It's no big deal. It's just a 13,000 foot blast. Yeah. Yon, Fuego, continuing ash missions. Nevada del Ruiz. Yon, 20,000 feet. So much ash, so many particles going up into the air every day. Every blast just keeps adding more and more and more and more. And then the SO2 coming out of the ground and SO4 adds even more to it. Reventador, 15,000. Sabancaya, it disappoints at 23 this time. It was at 24 and disappoints at 23. These lists are insane, okay? We're so used to it, it doesn't seem like it. We're so daily report about this. It's just like, commonplace now to have 61 erupting volcanoes. All of these are currently erupting, and this is eruption warning minor activity. We just saw Aobo and Vanuatu, what'd they say, 10,000 feet or something? Put that over there. Bangana, Canalon, Concepcion, these are all ones that have the potential to jump over. Meanwhile, all these are currently erupting. Just because we didn't get an elevation and a blast report out of it on the page does not mean it's not erupting. Look at all these ones that are still erupting. Here's Karaminski. Put it over there. Let's all not forget about Krakatoa and the Sunda Straits when it was its predecessor, Krakatoa. That's the one that darkened the planet for a year. The summer with no light or whatever. Luatobi, Luatolo, Marapi, Messiah, Merapi, all of those are always constantly erupting. Kluchevskoy over in the Kamchatka should be over there. It pops back and forth. Here's Nevada del Ruiz. Remember we saw a blast out of that one. Poas, Purase, Reung, Rincon de Vieja, Reung. All right, so with this geomagnetic storm that we just took on, and I took it down. Wait, pull this up. This G4 geomagnetic storm that we just took on, right here. All right, that's energy that gets absorbed by the magnetosphere, directed to the poles then transferred down to the core. We took on some energy, didn't we? Even the yellow stuff. Everything from about, 3 on up. So add up all the green and all the yellow and orange right there. That's all the energy we absorbed right there, probably. It's a fair amount going down to the core, building pressure. So we will continue to see volcanic blasts. We'll probably see an increase in height here pretty soon. We'll probably see, continuation of this getting even worse. And this getting worse because we just took in a bunch of energy. Earthquake magnitude can increase. Your volcanoes, we could possibly see a new volcano pop. Not every time does a semi-active one go fully active. Lately, it's been a new surprise, and an unknown one gets added to the list. So, with this round of energy coming in, we could possibly see an uptick in earthquake magnitude and an uptick in your volcano blast, the height of them, and possibly a new one. All right, it's a G4. It's not a G1. We took on some energy, a G4. It made it up to KP 7.5, almost 8. It wasn't a long duration storm, but we did take on some energy. So we will see residual effects here in the coming days. And lately it's been pretty quick. It's been like right away. So, I think, got the weather. And then we'll get into the spiritual report and wait until you find out about Mission Impossible, you guys. You're gonna love this show. As if I'm not torturing you enough already. So while that's loading up, thank you guys for taking a moment and being patient here. Oh, good. You're reading Psalm 61. Good. You guys are... Oh, you're going to love this spiritual report then. All right. So, boom. Current conditions. We have multiple players. We have so many players in the weather now. Our forecast models aren't keeping up. I don't think they know about the solar activity enhancement, the bombogenesis enhancement by the sun, the particulates also taking regular rainstorms like this that would dump an inch, and now they're dumping a foot, okay? Because the sponge, the air, which is a sponge, is holding a lot more water content. There's the nighttime right now, current conditions, tomorrow morning, noontime, convection, nighttime. And that's about as far as we're going, because after that, it's going to be all different. So there's your weather report. No, I'm kidding. Let's continue, though. Going into the morning of the 30th, noon, convection, nighttime. Still kind of looking good. You see this low forming right up here in the Central Plains. It's got little isolated pockets of severe weather, little isolated supercells possibly along there too. That'll be the nighttime of the 30th. Let's back up to convection. Yeah, there's just tad little pop-ups through there. But then the nighttime of the 30th, we get a little bit of activity. Then we go morning time of the 1st, noon, convection, nighttime. A few little pop-ups right in there, maybe down through here a little bit, but there's the morning of the 2nd. Morning time activity right there. Noon, convection, nighttime. Here we go. So we're looking at like a little QLCS type structure here, quasi-linear convective storm front here, where you could have, pop-ups out in front of it, as well as, QLCS storms or tornado spinning up in there. That'll be nighttime activity, nocturnal thunderstorm, tornado possible on the night of the 2nd, going into the morning of the 3rd. Noon, convection, these isolated pop-ups, supercells right there. That's dangerous. At convection of the 3rd, going nighttime, yeah, going nocturnal. This right here, this low and the tail that drags down, right there, it's even hooking up with this moisture flow coming up this way. So right in that midsection, even back up in here on the nighttime of the 3rd, a couple of nocturnal events there. Going into the morning of the 4th, we have residual energy that's still convecting in the morning hours. Noon of the 4th, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 5th, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 6th, noon, convection, nighttime. 7, convection, nighttime. 8, noon, convection, nighttime. 9, look out and up in Canada. Convection down here. Watch out around there. That'll all change. Nighttime. Morning of the 10th, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 11th, noon, convection, nighttime. Noon, convection, nighttime. Okay. Ooh, why? Say what? And that's the last frame. After that, everybody dies and there's no more data. No, I'm joking. But that's our last frame and convection of the 14th. That would be a nasty, nasty event right there. You see how it's low coming down through here? This is cold air coming down. We got a lot of moisture in the room, in the area already. And then, pow. Let's all pray that doesn't happen. That's way so far out there. That's the last frame. So, okay, there we go. We are all done with all that. And I need to get preloaded for our spiritual report. And we're going to talk about what happened to me back in September 2017. Okay. It's important you guys understand this is personal experience. Okay. This actually happened to me. All right. So it's a little different there. Okay. So we got to pull up this one. Where is it? Oh, yeah. Okay, we're here. This is just right after the Revelation 12 star alignment. We had the baby being born, the Revelation 12 baby born in my garage. Then we had this event, this Mary, angels, and this all-seeing eye here showing up. Come on. Only protection I need is from you guys. All right, there we go. So there was an event that happened that caused me to be in this state right here. Okay. And I haven't told you about that event yet because it's just so far off the wall crazy that when I tell it, it may just, it sounds too good to be true. It comes out weird. So I'm just trying my best to explain to you what happened. So we're gonna get into this here real quick. I need to take down that one, that one. Get rid of the volcano page. Get rid of all this. We'll leave the black hole. Yeah, leave the black hole. Don't leave this. Okay. Prior to the Mary showing up, I was shown this object. God showed me this object on September 10th of 2017. I showed you that in the wake up call video with Nibiru and Nemesis, okay? So, we got to pull up the Mission Impossible thing too. I found it earlier. Where'd it go? Oh, I got it. I think there's something like this. Where'd that one go that I was watching earlier? It's this one? Okay, cool. And then we're just gonna kind of leave it here for a second. Just yeah, and then okay, so you guys know the theme that goes along with Mission Impossible. That first you get the mission, right? You get a tape recording, whether you choose this mission or not, right? Oh, that's not the right one. Um, Here, like where he puts his glasses on, and it tells him you decide to choose this mission. If you do, you'll this will happen and that'll happen and this will happen and that'll happen, right? And then the message self destructs. Where did that 1 second go that I had? Is it this one? No, I had to type it in, and it was oh yeah. Should you choose to accept? All right, that phrase right there. Should you choose to accept? Okay. See this guy right here? That character, Ethan, kind of looks a lot like me, and they're kind of playing around there. Right? Is this it? Yeah, this is it right here. Okay, I think I could be able to play this, but we're going to hold that thought for a minute. Now, I was shown this, right? And I could see it three dimensionally. Uh, it was plain as day to me. Everybody else just saw the light right here from a CME and thought it was a CME. I could see the flow patterns. I could see what God was trying to show me. It's a black hole. And when I did finally see it, and some spiritual events happened to me. Okay, I showed you the baby being born, right? Okay, so let's do the baby thing real quick, just so you can see it, because I gotta establish this foundation for you, okay? So you'll understand what I'm up against. So volume. Let's just play this right here. Or the other picture, but I hadn't found it for years later until I was digging around through my old pictures and stuff, and went even further back to see if I'd missed anything, and I captured this one. And we're gonna zoom into this streak right up here, this one right here. Just bear with me for a second here. Now, hopefully you can see that we have a lady's profile here. Here's her eye, here's her forehead, her snub little nose, here's the bottom jaw. She's smiling, she's looking down, and she's holding a baby. And here's the baby's head right here. Here's the face,
the back of the head. Here's her arm cupped around like this, and she's holding the baby. Now I'm going to run this through the filter real quick, and it's going to enhance it, but a little bit too much.
Okay, there's the baby being born in my garage on October 4th of 2017. All right. Then between this event and the next day where I'm a wreck, something happened. All right. I can't really tell you exactly what happened because it's beyond your comprehension. But the closest thing that we have here on Earth to help describe this is the Mission Impossible um, story type story. Okay? So, much like the recording device that they get here, now I'm using this as fair use, copyright stuff, bullshit. I own every atom on this planet. You cannot copyright my material. This is my material, so it can't be copyrighted. It's mine. Now, listen closely, kind of here.
Your mission, Jim, should you decide to accept it.
Your mission, should you choose 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 to accept it.
Okay.
As always, should you or any of your IM...
Okay. Then the message goes, right? So I told you about EVPs, electromagnetic voice print, right? And that's a real phenomenon, okay? Well, I had my own EVP experience, but in a way that was... but it goes much like this, okay? First of all, should you accept this mission? All right. Now, during the message that I was given, okay, I got to tell you this message kind of outside of the exact message, but it still portrays the message. Should you accept your mission, then the recording comes EVP style. I'll get into that. And out of the spiritual realm, they tell me my mission, and well, it goes kind of like this. Much like in this, you got to save the world, right? Except this is real, and I got to save the world. And I'm like, what? The only way it can be done though is as like Agent Knight. I have to give up my identity. I have to reveal my identity because I was adopted by the Marine Corps, kind of like I said, and I really just been on a mission and never knew what my identity was. I was adopted. My name's Brian Knight, but they were telling me that it's time. The only way we can stop this and save the world is if you reveal your true identity. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? Then the EVP tells me, Brian, you are God. And I'm like, what? No. I'm not God. I don't want to be God. And then it says it again. You are God. Then all of a sudden, the mission and all the parameters fall into place. Now I see I have to reveal my identity to the world. And if that's what makes this mission impossible. Okay, it makes this mission it's the impossible mission. I'm trying to tell you who I am, but the mission's impossible because I need your help. You do you understand? It's an impossible mission without your help. I am on an impossible mission. I have to reveal my true identity. And once my true identity is revealed to the world, it's what helps save the world. Okay?
Caught or killed, the Secretary will disavow any knowledge of your actions.
As always, should you or any member of your IM force be caught or killed, the Secretary will disavow all knowledge of your actions.
As always, should you or any member of your team be caught or killed, the Secretary will disavow any knowledge of your actions.
Pursue us, you will be caught. Resist us, you will be killed. And your precious secretary will disavow any knowledge of your actions.
If you or any members of your IMF team are caught or killed, the Secretary will disavow any knowledge of your actions.
Starting to get it? And if you pay close attention to the actual theme song, it's the code. It's playing the code. Go back to that other one that had the music with the trying to play some of the music without the copyright strike stuff. See, this is what's so frustrating. I'm on an impossible mission. I'm trying to tell you, and I can't use the tools to tell you because it's all copyright. Sorry. It just makes this mission impossible. It really does. It's frustrating. And when you do understand my true identity, it does turn the world around and save the world. I am on this impossible mission. And you guys are the only way it becomes doable. Okay. How do we tell them?
UFC 303. Buy it on ESPNplus.com/pp.
Enough of your guys. Yeah, you're like little parasites. Not you, but advertisers. This moment when you have to decide, should you accept this? You're going to take on an impossible mission. Okay? Now I had some issues with the spiritual realm today, okay? Especially after what happened yesterday and during debate. All right. I can't tell you guys what happened, but let's just say I was reminded of my mission and my parameters. Okay. And much like rules of engagement, there's like rules of engagement. I'm bound by certain rules of engagement. On an impossible mission, the revealing of my true identity, instead of Agent Knight, Brian Knight, there's actually a spiritual identity that needs to be revealed, because once everybody knows who Agent Knight is, that's what stops everything and saves the world. But I have to convince the world who hates me, an entire world, you're up against every odd. The world hates you. No one will believe you. I still accept. Well, you got all these things against you. It's an impossible mission. I still accept. But all right, here comes the bad news. This is your last mission, Brian. Should you choose to accept it, this mission ends in your demise. You will not survive this mission. I still choose to accept, but it's not worth it. It's impossible. No one will believe. No one will help. It's an impossible mission. I still choose to accept it. And they're like, all right, You're going to be tortured to death along the way. I still accept it. Why? Why? It's an impossible mission. It's an impossible mission. And I had to turn around and tell them why I chose an impossible mission. Are you ready to know why I chose an impossible mission? Because nothing is impossible with Jesus. Nothing is impossible with Jesus. Therefore, I accept, and I will continue to reveal my identity to help save the world from themselves. You're all your own worst enemies. I'm trying to help you save you from yourself. The character Ethan, they know what I look like. They're copying my look. They're copying my life. They're portraying my life in this movie. All the things that he goes through. All the shit that I've been through. They're showing you who I am through the movies. And the theme song is the code. It's an impossible mission without you believing. Without you believing in me, it just makes it all the harder. And it just got 100-fold harder after that debate last night because everybody's focus is on that now. I was making traction. I was making ground. I was making headway. This is an impossible mission. Okay? It's still impossible. I still choose to accept it, even though it ends in my demise. I'm not on a suicide mission because I'm not suicidal. I love life with a passion. But unfortunately, my mission is a kamikaze mission because, it ends with my death, and then people will see who I was. And it was like, it's too bad they couldn't see who I was while I was here. Yeah, it's just too bad they won't know until I pass away and everything, the shit hits the fan, and it's just so bad. It just sucks. It's hard that you guys missing out while I'm right here. Give me the volume. Quit playing games.
Your mission, Jim, should you decide to accept it.
Your mission, should you choose to accept it.
Your mission, should you choose to accept it.
Your mission, should you choose to accept it.
Now, you guys can be part of the team. If you choose to accept it. A lot of people say, everywhere I go, people go, "Oh, you look like Tom Cruise." Yeah, I know. I've heard it before. I've heard it all over. "Yeah, you look like Tom Cruise. You look like Tom Cruise." Yeah, I know. Because you're copying my look. You're copying my style. You're copying my story. I'm the one who does the Mission Impossible. I'm the man. I'm Ethan. I'm the one who's on the impossible mission, trying to help you guys understand my identity as this type of a player, trying to get you guys to understand. That's what happened. And then I was a wreck.
Howdy, folks. Welcome back. So I've been going through some of the old photos.
Actually, you know what?
Running them through the filter, and this was...
We're just going to leave the sound off there. Because after that little baby was born, I was told this mission. I chose to die. Even though you don't believe me, even though you don't care, even though it's just stupid, it's insane, it's actually the real deal. I'm actually doing the real thing. And I made the decision. I know I'm a dead man. But I still choose to accept. Okay? When I did that, when I chose to accept, I conquered some stuff in the spiritual realm, right? And now we got stuff like this happening since. Yeah, we got cans of cat food now since. It's so gross. Why would you show shit like that on TV, on the computer? It just, sorry, very agitated. But, see? There's the man who chose the mission impossible. And then revealing my identity puts a target on my back. I'm fighting for my family. I'm fighting for my mother. I'm fighting for my kids. They don't know. They don't believe. I'm fighting for you guys. Some of you know. Some of you believe. It's an impossible mission. Almost impossible. Except all things are possible with Jesus. So I accepted the challenge. Very painful. Excruciatingly painful. Don't think this is a joyride process at all. Excruciatingly painful. Spiritually, emotionally. Imagine all this stuff happening to you and nobody believed you. It would drive you insane. It would drive you insane. It's like, imagine, say, well, the neighbor's house is on fire, right? And you go over there and you pound on their door and you tell them, hey, dude, your house is on fire. You need to get out. And he comes out in the bathrobe, looks around, sees some smoke, but just like, that's not my house. You're like, no, definitely coming from your house. And then he sees it coming from his house. Oh, it's just coming from the chimney. It's like, how many other times does it take before somebody will get the sense of urgency that, hey, your house is on fire? It's just, it can be frustrating. And it teaches you a lot of patience and tolerance and gives you strength. It was funny. I prayed for strength and God shattered me because putting myself back together made me strong. I got some stuff for you guys tonight. All right. So hang in there. I'm getting right to it right now. Schizophrenia. Yes. I love that term. Until you find out who I am, you're the one with schizophrenia. And I'm helping you get well. Okay? When you're looking at that, we got to do this too, because we got a couple of people that I see need a little reassurance. We're going to go right to regular. In fact, you know what? They've been messing with my gift, so we'll just do this. There. Oh, it's okay. It's important that you guys understand what's going on. Giant faces follow me all over the place. UFOs follow me all over the place. We got ascended masters like Yoda follow me all over the place. We got ancient races from the past that follow me all over the place. And then we got,
folks, welcome back.
Then we got my face showing up in the clouds with a crown on Easter. Oh yeah, Jesus showing up in the clouds on Easter. 2,000-year-old prophecy came true on Easter.
So I know there's a lot of activity going on the sun, but I really don't feel like reporting on that stuff right now.
Here.
Actually, I want to go back and revisit an event that happened earlier.
Okay, we're just going to mute it and just let it kind of play in the background. All right, now. Let's see, I had started somewhere here. Okay, yeah. Right now, when you're here watching this and you're seeing me and you're hearing my voice, you are on the path of my choosing. There is no randomness about your life. Here and now comprise the coordinates of your daily life. Most people let their moments slip through their fingers half-lived. They avoid the present by worrying about the future or longing for a better time and place. They forget that they are creatures who are subject to the limitations of time and space. They forget their Creator who walks with them only in the present. Only in the present. That means in the present moment, right? So it's all about being in the present moment or being in the moment, right? So when your moments are getting all flustered and worried and you're getting future tripping after what you just saw at the debate or whatever, all right, just freeze right there. It's important that you lost my train of thought. There is no randomness about your life. Here and now are the coordinates. So this very moment, this present moment, it's important to be in the moment, because when you're in the moment, you are caught up in the moment, and that's what you need to be at this very moment right now with me, right here, right now, looking at my face, hearing my voice. Okay, I'm this impossible mission. I have to blow my cover, put my life on the line, put a target on my back, and blow my cover, and reveal my true identity. That's the only way we're going to save this place, right? Because if everybody understands who my true identity is, do you think that's going to help turn this around? We could save this planet, you know that. We could save this world when they know I'm here. Just my presence. Everybody'd slam on the brakes and go, what? Yeah, it's real. And by the way, he's here. Every country would, a big pink Twinkie. And that's coming soon. Because in the end, everybody finds out. So, what I want you guys to know about that's very important is the here and now coordinates. All right? Always remember, you're in the moment. Your here and now coordinates. Don't let those moments, these here and now coordinates, slip away half-lived. Because most people do. They avoid the present and worry about the future or long for a better time and place. They forget that they're creatures that are subject to time and space. They forget their Creator who walks with them only in the present. So every moment is alive with my glorious presence. So when you understand my glorious presence, then every moment comes alive. Every moment is alive with my glorious presence. See how that works? You understand that when you recognize my glorious presence, then you are in those here and now coordinates. You are in the moment. You're caught up in the moment, much like caught up with my face in the clouds. Caught up with me in the clouds. You're caught up with me out by the sun. You're caught up with me in this show, because every moment is alive with my glorious presence to those whose hearts are intimately connected with mine. So you folks in the chat room and on the replays out there that are intimately connected with me, this relationship we're building, my glorious presence brings alive those moments to the peoples whose hearts and minds are intimately connected with me. Okay, so the people that are intimately connected with me, that believe me, that see and understand what I'm trying to do, their moments are alive with my glorious presence, aren't they? You little victorious ones out there, I love it. You guys are actually getting this because you are finding that. It's not easy, but it does come in time with work. And as you give yourself more and more to a life of constant communion with me, you will find that you simply have no time for worry. Okay? That's the goal. It takes a while to get there. It doesn't just happen instantly. Some people find it right away. They don't have so much work to do, like some of us have some work to do. So as you give yourself more and more to a life of this praying, a life of this communing with me at the show here, this life of finding out some of these facts, and then a life of practicing these disciplines I'm teaching you, when you do that life, you simply have no time for worry. And then you are freed to let my spirit direct your steps. So you have to be free for my spirit to direct your steps. You can't just expect the spirit to direct your steps if you're not free. So if you want to be free, give yourself more and more, commune with me, more and more of the show, and you find that you have no time for worry. Once you've reached that stage of no time for worry, you're at this stage now, there's just, you're out there kicking ass, and there's just no time for worry. And you are indeed freed to let my spirit direct your steps, enabling you to walk along the path of peace. And if you're doing that, then you are on the path of my choosing. And you're doing awesome. I am so happy for you guys. And those who are still struggling, don't give up. Keep trying. Keep trying. It's worth it. Don't leave until the miracle happens. It's kind of becoming this, you're looking forward to this show, right? You learn something every night. Sometimes my voice and these readings bring comfort and peace. And we're growing this little relationship. We're kind of depending on this show a little bit. It feels good, right? And that's living independence on me, isn't it? Well, yeah, it is. So, living independence on me is the way to enjoy abundant life. Don't you agree? Are you having abundant life now? Now that you come to this show and you get your spiritual reading every night, you understand who you really are? That you have a seat at my table, that makes you blessed. Ooh, if you only knew how blessed you are. And when we're making this relationship together, you're living dependence on me. And living independence on me is the way to enjoy abundant life. So you guys are really out there enjoying abundant life now. And I'm so happy for you. And abundant life doesn't mean totally happy, positive all the time. It's a challenge. It's abundantly challenging. Abundant doesn't always mean good. Abundant means a lot of life. That means a lot of trials, a lot of errors, a lot of mistakes turned into opportunities. That's what abundant means. You have just stepped up the tempo. You've, well, now you're living abundant. Now all kinds of crazy stuff's happening to you, spiritually attacked, but you're handling it, aren't you? You're taking your tools and salvaging your day. Maybe a couple times, multiple times a day, helping others salvage their day. You are learning to appreciate tough times because they amplify your awareness of my presence now. All of a sudden, your tough times, all you focused on was the toughness and the times and poor me, oh, pity me. But now you are learning to appreciate tough times because you know they amplify your awareness of my presence. Tasks that you used to dread are becoming these rich opportunities now. They're these rich opportunities to enjoy my closeness. I'm right there with you when you're doing your tasks. Okay, when you're working, you're doing a chore, you're doing anything, anything. I'm right there with you. And those simple little tasks, I use the word tasks because it's just basically everything from turning the doorknob to buckling your seatbelt to opening the garage to, every little task. Everything is these tasks that you used to dread. Now you're seeing them as opportunities. If you have gotten to the point where your tasks have become opportunities, you no longer dread them, right? You look at them through the perspective, a new perspective, that your tasks are opportunities to enjoy my closeness. Well, shit, if it's an opportunity to enjoy my closeness, how could it be a task? It's you're dancing with me, baby. We're dancing together. It's not a task. We're having fun. We're coordinating your movements. We're dancing together through the spirit that's in you. And your tasks that you used to dread are now opportunities where you enjoy my closeness. Now, this will drain. Living in dependence on me is tasky. It's hard. It makes you tired. And when you feel tired, you remember that I am your strength. And then you take pleasure in leaning on me again. So all of this stuff is very taxing. It's very hard, drain you of a lot of energy, which makes you tired. And then when you finally get tired, you turn around to remember that I'm your strength. Oh, you did all that with the strength that I gave you, and then you take pleasure in leaning on me. It should be pleasure. It shouldn't feel awkward. It shouldn't be weird. It should be pleasure. It should be fun to hang out here with me. Not all scary and, oh, you judge me or blah, 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 or you're judging me. No, just enjoy my presence. Take pleasure now in leaning on me. When you are taking pleasure in leaning on me, I am pleased by your tendency to turn to me more and more, especially when you're alone. Because a lot of us are getting isolated and alone now, aren't we? We're finding everybody falling to the wayside and we're being kind of left alone. And especially when you're alone, I'm pleased when you turn to me. Okay? And when you're with other people, you often lose sight of my presence. Your fear of displeasing people puts you in bondage to them, and they become your primary focus. I am fighting that one so hard at this current moment, right now, in this moment. I fear displeasing people and it's put me in bondage to them. And I'm trying to keep them from becoming my primary focus. Pretty hard to do. Imagine if that was happening to you, and your fear of displeasing people. You're a people pleaser. I understand that. I am too. I like to make people happy. I don't want to disappoint them. I like to keep people happy. But your fear of displeasing them puts you in bondage to them. It sucks. It really sucks, because I love helping people. And you can't please everybody, so this fear of displeasing people puts you in bondage. My bondage is a lot tighter than yours, and I got to break free from it, because I love people, and sometimes they become my primary focus. And then when you realize this has happened, just like sometimes I realize this has happened, whisper my name, and this tiny act of trust. It's that tiny act of trust right there that brings me to the forefront of your consciousness. Okay? It's almost like a distractionary measure, in the moment type a function in your mind to help you when you're having troubles, when you're future tripping, your anxiety, every stress. You gotta stop, and just that tiny act of trust. That's the key right there. Stop what you're doing. We're distracting the mind from tripping out about the future. Just take a little bit of trust. That little act of trust right there reassures your mind. Okay, it takes your mind off the subject. It reassures your mind, and it puts me back to the forefront of your consciousness, where I belong. Now, as you bask in the blessings of my nearness, like being here at the show, doing this right here and now, while you bask in the blessings of this, my life can flow through you into others. This is abundant life. When you are dependent on me, we're taking tasks that we used to dread and turning them into opportunities. You're doing so much. When you feel tired, you find me as your strength. You take pleasure in leaning on me, especially when you're alone. Don't forget, when you're around other people, you forget about my presence. Your fear of displeasing those people puts you in bondage. When you realize that happens, that tiny act of trust brings me to the forefront of your consciousness, right? That tiny act of trust, brings me to the forefront of your consciousness right there. It takes your mind off of the problem and puts it on the solution, doesn't it? Well, shit, why are you tripping on the problem when you got the solution? Right? So change your modus operandi, your way of thinking, when you've realized that you're displeasing people and you're in bondage to them. Those tiny little acts of trust. How many tiny acts of trust can you do a day? How about that? There's a new challenge for you. How many little tiny acts of trust can you accumulate in one day? It's not a challenge. It should be a joy. But then look at it as a challenge, so it's joyful. You got something now to work at. That's fun. It rewards you right back. That tiny act of trust. And when you practice those tiny acts of trust, You bask in the blessings of my nearness, which flows through you into others. And when that flow happens as well, that is abundant life. Okay? That is abundant life. When dependence, the strength, awareness of the presence, all those tiny acts of trust, get rid of the fear of displeasing people, and now you are living abundantly, and you are reflecting that abundantly to others, and that's abundant life. What else we got, Lord? I could use that one, I guess. One last little addition to those notes right there. If I'm truly your master, you will desire to please me above all others. So if pleasing people is your goal, you will be enslaved to them. All right. People can be harsh taskmasters when you give them this power over you. Yeah, I think we're all struggling with that one, maybe. People can be harsh taskmasters when you give them this power over you. Because that's what you did. You gave them that power over you. And it's hard because you're a people pleaser. You want people to be happy. And that's a noble goal, but if pleasing people is your goal, you're just going to be enslaved to them. Now, if I'm the master of your life, well, then all kinds of stuff changes then, doesn't it? If people are your master, well, then you're enslaved to them. But if I am your master, I will also be your first love. Your serving me is rooted and grounded in my vast, unconditional love for you. Your serving me is rooted and grounded in the unconditional love I have for you. And it shouldn't feel like you're serving me. You're living, you're being, you're practicing salvaging a day is what I'm talking about. That's you serving me. Okay? Instead of running around all depressed and being pissed off, even though it happens, accept that it happens, okay? It's not the end of the world, accept that it does happen, and then work to salvage your day. Few prayers, all kinds of different tricks to salvaging your day. And serving me it'll be fun. It should be pleasurable. It should be love serving me. It's not like I want you waiting on me hand and foot, feeding me grapes with a palm frond. No. Serving me means you are trying to perfect your days that are imperfect, perfecting them by recovering them, by salvaging them. Okay. So serving me is rooted and grounded in my vast unconditional love for you. And the lower you bow down before me, the higher I lift you up into the intimate relationship with me. Okay? So when it says the lower you bow down before me, that means the more you're trusting in me. Okay? What's funny is if you were to get on your knees and bow in front of me personally, you'd see the birthmarks on my feet. And then you'd be, oh, That's what I'm doing down here. And it should feel good to be on your knees. I love praying on my knees. It feels good. And just a little tip. When you're praying on your knees, that shows God you mean business. All right. You pray every way you want. I know you mean business, but when it's on your knees like that, that means, hey, I want you to hear this prayer right here, right now, right away. I mean business. That's what praying on your knees is, by the way. So the lower you bow down before me, which is like the more you're digging into me, you're believing me, you're trusting me, the more you do, the higher I lift you up. The more you trust me, the higher I lift you up, don't I? You guys are getting lifted higher and higher with each show. What is the other thing that goes with this? Because I wanted, yes, the lower, yes. Okay, so we got through that concept. The lower you bow down, the higher I can lift you up. I can lift you into this intimate relationship with me, okay? Because it's not about religion, it's about the relationship. You guys are actually getting that relationship. Dang it. I got other stuff. Oh, yeah, this too. So, the concept of the lower you bow down before me, the higher I lift you up. That means the more you trust in me, the more you lean into me, the more joy you get out of this, the higher I lift you up. And the better you get to know me, the more we grow intimate in this relationship. And the joy of living in my presence outshines all other pleasures. I want you to reflect my joyous light by living in increasing intimacy with me. Because that's how we do it. Getting to know me. And I'm trying to be as forthcoming and matter-of-factly about all this as I can. The Mission Impossible thing, I think, kind of helps. Maybe you guys understand what's going on. I have to reveal my identity in order to save the world. And at the expense of my life, a lot of pain. But at least I get to be with you guys along the way a little bit. Maybe some of you will, that have learned the lesson, you don't appreciate something until it's gone, right? Well, that's when everybody will find out who I am when I'm gone. And it's just sad that some people can't enjoy me while I'm still here before I pass, right? So I got a lot to teach you before I move on. What's some other... I'm sorry. I'm tired here. I think I got one more. Can that backside go into that? Oh, okay. So here's a couple more. I got a couple more for you. Especially after last night, do not search for security in the world you inhabit. You tend to make mental checklists of things you need to do in order to gain control of your life. We are so worried about gaining control of our life that we make these mental checklists, don't we? And if you check off everything on your list, you could relax and be at peace, right? But the more you work to accomplish that goal, the more things crop up on your list, huh? The harder you try, the more frustrated you become, huh? There is a better way to find security in this life. Instead of scrutinizing your checklist, focus your attention on my presence with you. We've been sitting there scrutinizing the checklist, haven't we? Just all pissed off about this item, that item, what are we going to do, how is it going to do, how is we're stressing about this item and that item on the checklist, the dang checklist. There is a better way to find security. Instead of scrutinizing your checklist, focus your attention on my presence with you. This continual contact with me will keep you in my peace. In my peace? Do you want peace? Quit with the checklist. You will find the peace. The more you work to accomplish that goal, the more things crop up on your list. So, what are you doing? The harder you try, the more frustrated you get. It's easier to focus your attention on my presence. And this continual contact with me does keep you in peace. Try it. Try it. It does keep you in my peace. And I will help you sort out what is important and what is not, what needs to be done now and what does not. Fix your eyes not on what is seen, like your circumstances, but fix your eyes on what is unseen, my presence. Okay? So, when you fix your eyes on your circumstances, well, you have problems. But when you fix your eyes on what's unseen, which is my presence, well, you fix your eyes on my presence, now you're not stressing and scrutinizing your checklist. It's okay. I do it too. I go before you. I'm doing all this stuff and conquering it so I can pass it on to you. I go before you. And if you learn to trust me, really trust me with your whole being, then nothing can separate you from my peace. Everything you endure can be put to good use by allowing it to train you in trusting me. Everything you endure, everything you endure can be put to good use. But it's you who has to allow it to train you in trusting me. You see why trusting me is so important? Because then you know who I am and you get the relief and you get the peace. Trust me. Trust. There's no one else around you can. Really, there isn't. You got so much fake this, fake videos, fake deep fakes this. You can't trust a dang thing. So, if you learn to trust me with your whole being, nothing can separate you from my peace. I want you guys to have that peace. It's hard, but it can be attained. We are in the salvage business. We salvage our day. We help other people salvage their day so they can have that peace. And you find that peace by trusting me. Everything you endure will then be put to good use when you trust me. Do you want the stuff that you already endure? You have to endure it. Do you want it put to good use? Well, then trust me. Everything you endure can be put to good use by allowing it to train you in trusting me. Once you can do that, this is how you foil the works of evil, by growing in grace through the very adversity that was meant to harm you. You have just taken what was meant to harm you and turned it into a growing experience And now you are growing in grace through the very adversity that was meant to harm you. Do you see what I just did there? Do you see what I just did for you there? I took your adversity and turned it into opportunities to trust me. When you grow like that, when you grow and nothing, now adversity doesn't scare you. You're not afraid of it. It's lost its sting. You've actually turned the sting around, and now you're using it as a growth opportunity. The very adversity that was meant to harm you now helps you grow and grow stronger. So bring on the adversity. Let's get stronger, right? Do not fear what each day or any day may bring your way, because it's just an opportunity to grow in adversity, to take your adversity and turn it around. So don't fear what the day brings. Welcome the adversity. If you concentrate on trusting me and on doing what needs to be done, you can relax in my sovereignty, remembering that I do go before you as well as with you. Okay? I just did all this hard work, and I am still going alongside you right now, as well as with you. So, my message for you guys tonight is fear no evil, for I can bring good out of every situation you will ever encounter. I choose to accept this mission. I fear no evil, because I can bring good out of every situation. Do not fear what each day may bring. Relax in my sovereignty. How do you relax in my sovereignty? By remembering that I go before you as well as with you. Now, evil has lost its sting. You fear no evil, because you know I will bring good out of it. And that's I think that's it for tonight. If you learn to trust me, nothing can separate you from my peace. A lot of people out there in the world all trying to get famous and popular, get their 5 minutes of fame. You got all kinds of YouTubers jumping off a building, doing all kinds of stupid stuff to get 5 minutes of fame. Meanwhile, I'm a man on a mission, an impossible mission I choose to accept. And I got to save the world from a closet. From a closet. Talk about mission impossible. How do you save the world from when you're in a closet? Well, I'm doing the best with what I got, and I'm giving it my all. This mission I accept, because nothing is impossible with Jesus. I want you guys to remember that. You're also on this mission as well, whether you like it or not. I'm just training you before it hits you. Okay? You also help make this mission possible. When you lean into me and you trust me, that's where I'm starting to get results. This mission is it's quite a task, and I just keep keep bringing it. That's all I can do. And don't forget, don't be surprised when your solar storms jump in magnitude, especially when we have these objects out there. All right. So that's it for tonight. I love you all. You'll have to excuse me. I don't sleep anymore. Yeah, I think that's it. I love you all. I miss you all. Until my next show, I will be back. I am already back. Do you understand? I am already here. Do you understand that when the world realizes my presence, how we can save the world? Just my sheer presence being here, everybody will go, what? It's real, and he's here and in the flesh, baby. Yeah, walking around, the Word made flesh, dwelling among you, would those headlines would bring the world to a halt. Nothing's impossible without Jesus, and I need help from my crew. All right, I love you all. I'll be back. I'm already back, and I love you, and I miss you. Bye. Dun, 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 dun.